What's up, guys? Today, now that I've finally at last covered a film that I love, Teikoki Huinarimyo, so we talk about another criminally underrated and overlooked film made by the same director. This one is much easier to find. It's on Amazon Prime. Please, for the love of all that is holy, check out the movie My Way. Alright, so I believe the director's name is Kang Jae-gyo. Or Kang Jae-gyo. He created this movie. I think this was basically, he had a multiple year hiatus between releasing films. And the one film he created after Brotherhood of War, or Teikoki, was My Way. Put a lot of effort. It was one of the most expensive South Korean films at the time ever created. Unfortunately, it was released in theaters the same week as Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which is also a phenomenal film. And as a result, this film I don't even think it broke even in the box office, and almost nobody noticed it, which is a shame. Oh my goodness. Alright, this film, My Way, is the second best war movie I've ever seen behind Brotherhood of War. It's phenomenal. And I think it has a better soundtrack. And there's just a couple things that Teikoki does better, but this is an incredible film. I'm going to be diving into why I love it, what I think it teaches, and before I do so, again, spoiler warning, but please check this film out. It's on Amazon Prime. I bet your roommate already has a subscription to it, or his parents have a subscription to it that y'all can use. This film is completely worth your time. Please watch it before you see the rest of my video talking about it. And I will say, with the titles of films changing between languages often, this one chose to just be named My Way. That's what it says in Korean. It's just Konglish. And in all honesty, just given the story and the direction My Way takes, I almost feel like Brotherhood of War would be a better name for it, in all honesty. But that's besides the point. This film follows two characters. There is a Korean character named Kim Jun-sik, and he's played by the same actor who was in Brotherhood of War that played Jin Tae. Jang Dong-gon is the name of that actor, and even though this film came out 8 years after Brotherhood of War, he did not age a day. He looks the same age, and just, once again, completely devotes himself to this role, and is such a great character. So, Kim Jun-sik is a boy living in Korea, or Joseon. At the time, it's still under Japanese occupation. It's a Japanese colony. And he becomes friends with a Japanese kid who moves there named Tatsuo Hasegawa. And they both are avid runners. And I must say, I myself, as a runner, I guess I'm not much of one nowadays, but I used to run all the time growing up. That was just central to my activities as a younger person, and I think as a runner I really connected deeply with this film and with the characters. And so they're both avid runners, they're friends, but then Tatsuo's grandfather is assassinated in a targeted move by the Korean independence movement. And as a result, his friendship with Kim Jun-sik falls apart, and Jun-sik's father is horribly beaten. To give some context, the father received a gift from someone, which he then presented to Tatsuo's grandfather, and there was a bomb inside it. So he's blamed for the assassination and is beaten terribly. It doesn't really detail his injuries, but it gives off the impression that he never fully recovers from it. So years down the line, there comes an athletic competition in which Junshik is up against Tatsuo, and Junshik manages to win. However, the Japanese officials refuse to acknowledge his victory, and they claim that he cheated and has been disqualified. So Junshik is understandably frustrated and begins a fight with the judges. A riot breaks out, and the punishment for participating in the riot is that all the Koreans that fought against the Japanese in that situation, they are forcibly conscripted into Japan's military and sent straight to the front lines. And this is right as World War II is kicking off globally. Japan had already been engaged in conflict with China by this point for a few years, and tensions with the Soviet Union were never good. And so they find themselves on the front line, and goodness gracious, the film goes 150% with the battles. It just does not stop, and they are incredible. Shortly thereafter, they meet a Chinese resistance fighter named Shirai, and promptly Tatsuo becomes their commanding officer, and he is just acting vile, throwing his troops' lives away, trying to do everything he can to make Junshik's life miserable.
相良清組は今からこの不備のある浮き橋の上板を頭に乗せ駆け足で日没前までに部隊に復帰しろ。最高のマラソン選手が貴様らを引っ張ってくれるはずだ。上板で重要なことは水平を保つことだ。水平だ。水平。どうだい形跡。갈길이 멀다. 호박이요. 수시가 너 그냥 걸어. 한번은 우리가 받칠 테니까. 신경 쓸 거 없어. 너 물은 나가면 끝장이야. 임마 내 말 들어. どうだ涼しいか。ノロマル9組ども。
And as a result, Junshik escapes with his friends and with Shirai, and they're about to try and escape via boat. However, Junshik realizes that the Soviets are inbound to attack their base, and he decides against conventional wisdom and what his friends want him to do. He decides to run to the base and warn them that an attack is inbound.
미쳤냐? 야! 너 지금 뭐하는 짓이야? 미쳤냐? 야, 너 미쳤냐?
In the process, he gets nearly strafed and killed by a Soviet pilot. Shirai shows up kind of out of nowhere and snipes the plane out of the sky. A little bit, maybe surpassing what is believable, but it was still a really cool scene. And she dies. However, Junshik makes it to the base, but he's not really there soon enough to be able to warn them. And the attack commences. And again, the battles, you can tell they were just having a little too much fun. The cinematography goes gnarly. This and in a different scene, the cameraman, so to speak, bites the dust. And as troops are falling left and right, many of the Korean soldiers begin to run away, and Tatsuo is not having it. He starts executing them right then and there, saying that to flee is a vile sin before the Emperor and will not be tolerated. And Junshik tries to explain that this is futile, they can't win, they shouldn't be throwing away their lives like this, but Tatsuo is not having any of it. Until an explosion goes off, and they both find themselves as captives. The actor for Tatsuo is, I believe his name is Olajiri Jo. I think that's how you say it. Again, another actor that just fully dedicates himself to this role and knocks it out of the park. He's just so good at being a jerk. You really despise him the more the film continues. Showing them trapped up in the Soviet gulag is pretty miserable stuff. It doesn't shy away from how awful all of that was. And I think, goodness gracious, this film will just further prove that Russia, throughout pretty much all of its history, has just been evil. Goodness. They're suffering. They're starved. And what's interesting is that Tatsuo finds himself confronting the same things that Junshik was confronting. He's told to set aside his nationalism and focus on the Soviet Union and what the Soviet Union can do for them, and reform and change. And he's confronting the same things that Junshik and the other Koreans had to confront when they were forcibly conscripted by the Japanese. Junshik's childhood friend is there. He actually got captured by the Russians at one point, and he's there as well, but he's serving in a role more or less as a collaborator. And he's facilitating their treatment so he can be treated better, and he is preying off of the frustration and grievances and hatred that's built up in him in order to take it out on the Japanese captors. Or the captives, excuse me. And I was thinking about this. I feel like the direction that his character goes, going from victim to aggressor, in all honesty, really reflects the trajectory that North Korea as a country took. That it was the victim of Japanese imperialism and used all of that pain and affliction it endured and deflected it onto others, and then in a very more overtly aggressive way by invading South Korea. South Korea had a lot of its own problems as well, but just kind of a bit more noticeable in that regard. I think that really reflects Jongdae's character arc. He's just letting vengeance dominate his behavior. And it's honestly really sad to see. When it comes down to it, he completely sells out some of his friends so he can rise to the top and not be suspect. And as this continues, it reaches the point where the characters we began with are almost all gone. Now it's just Tatsuo, Junshik, and Junshik's childhood friend. Jongdae is the only one that's left, and in another moment, Tatsuo and Junshik, I forgot what it was about, but they get into a scuffle, and the Soviet leader in the camp tells them that they'll just have to settle it one-on-one.
Один из вас умрет.
빨리 이 새끼 죽여버려 빨리! 아 빨리! 야 이씨!
Junshik gains the upper hand, has an opportunity to kill Tatsuo, but he spares him. Then the childhood friend Jongdae, he kills another one of the Japanese prisoners, and Tatsuo loses it. Another riot breaks out. Alright, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
And as punishment, Junshik and Tatsuo are about to be executed by firing squad. but they're saved at the last minute by current events.
Вам срочная телеграмма из штаба. Каждый получает обмундирование. Получай одежду. Германия напала на Советский Союз.
Germany invades the Soviet Union, and promptly the Soviets need as many bodies as they can to throw at the enemy. Ever since World War I, Russia's been using the same tactics, guys. What we're seeing in Ukraine to this very day is what's still going on. It happened all the way back then. And Zhong Dae asks his commissar, or whatever you call the Soviet leader, to spare Tatsuo and Junsik. They quickly put on the Soviet uniforms and find themselves shipped off to the front lines.
Это твой последний шанс. Я повторяю, одевайся!
And in a scene that's very reminiscent of Enemy at the Gates, just the horrors of war are on full display. Zhong Dae dies. As he dies, he comes to his senses and realizes that he completely wasted his life in pursuit of vengeance. Junsik saves Tatsuo from an incoming artillery round, or maybe it was a tank round, I don't recall off the top of my head. But as Tatsuo and other prisoners are beginning to run for their lives, he sees a commissar executing them point blank, saying that retreat is intolerable. No surrender. And in just an incredible scene of parallelism, he comes to terms and realizes that he was once like that. Now he was on the receiving end of such vile behavior, and it shook him to his core. That in a slightly different context, he was killing those who refused to fight for a cause they did not believe in or understand. And when he was the victim of it, he saw his own reflection. What a moment. And Junshik and Tatsuo survive, and they start making their way to try to find German territory, and they're separated. Fast forward a few years, and they find themselves. Tatsuo finds himself at Normandy, prepping defenses there with other more or less enslaved or coerced or captured forces under occupied German territory, which is actually an important moment in Saving Private Ryan. If you've seen the channel History Buffs, he mentioned it. As Tatsuo is looking around, he sees a familiar face running on the beach. Tatsuo and Junshik reunite. And I love that. While they were enslaved amongst their enemies, they realized they weren't so different from each other. Being the only Asians in the region, for sure, at least by and large, they realized that they could put aside their petty differences and return to when they used to be friends as younger kids. Well, with the insane finale, this film has a insane D-Day moment, a Saving Private Ryan moment that buries Saving Private Ryan. I know it's not entirely historically accurate, but I don't care. It is just so epic. Alright, D-Day from the Axis perspective. They both find themselves on the front line, holding back waves of enemy troops. And the battles, again, they're so good. Here we have the Brotherhood of War style combat with more believable CGI, since, let's be real, the CGI at the end of Brotherhood of War with those planes, that was the only moment of the film that took me out of it. Now we have much better special effects and a really similar style battle going on, and it is just breathtaking. Oh my gosh, so intense, so gripping. since the movie mentioned at the beginning that a Korean was found on D-Day, you're going to be expecting, oh, okay, well, Tatsuo's probably not going to make it. And again, I love the character dynamic between them. What they say to each other as they're trying to run to safety. It's still a little bit of a friendly competition between them. There's no more bitterness, no more hatred. They're friends again. And Junshik is mortally wounded by artillery fire. And they trade. He gives him his name tape or his name tag, dog tag, whatever you call it, because he's afraid. Even though he is dying, what he cares more about is his best friend Tatsuo. Even in the depths of war, he didn't give up on forgiveness and the possibility of redemption. Just a selfless character, always putting someone else before himself. And Junshik dies. Even just talking about it, it makes me a little emotional. What an incredible story. final scene, Tatsuo running in Junshik's place. And the final song is so good. I don't even think it's on Spotify, which is a shame. But this final song is one of the best works of music that I've ever heard. The lyrics are beautiful. They really teach us something, and it's all just so good. Honestly, as a Christian myself, I really feel that the lyrics and this whole story reflect parallels with the role and the example that Jesus Christ gave. Someone who laid his life down for us. No matter how far we've fallen, even when we're not worth saving anymore, he still goes out of his way to help us and save us. I'll just read some of the lyrics. As fate required your innocence, you laid down your life as a guiding light. I'll carry your name until my dying day. Through certain pain, we found our way. Over mountains, across the oceans, any distance where it takes me. I can reach you if I know your heart and meet you once again. I can find my way to you. Wow. Again, I really think that reflects the relationship that we have with God. We should be willing to go any distance because He has done the same for us. And we'll wear His name. We'll carry His name until our dying day. And I hope we can do so.
Safe as I recall when we had it all. Part of us died the day we lost paradise through certain pain. We found our way every single night and day, spent apart, however far, to find my way. I'll search my memory to hear your voice, to know your pain and see your face, so I can find my way. You broke the earth with every step. You fought for life with every faithful breath. As fate required your innocence, you laid down your life as a guiding light. I'll carry your name until my dying day. Through certain pain, we found our way every single night and day,
can find